355 bombs. Let's talk about it. Yeah, man. Let's get it in, man. We're going to talk about 355. And we're going to also talk about women in film, in particular strong women in film. Because this is something that I would have never really tried to get too much commentary on the channel. Because, again, like I said, I don't want my channel to be spicy because we talk certain type of we have certain type of conversations that kind of like tiptoe into the realm of politics and social politics and popular politics, things that goes on in and of its day right now. And the reason being is because we don't want to saturate the fandom with overcomplicated concepts that have absolutely nothing to do with the transparency of films. But at the same time, these are films, and these are actually films depicting certain human emotions and things of that nature. And even business-wise, we have to understand that it elicits certain type of emotional responses that would be advantageous for filmmakers to pay attention to, especially when putting together the ingredients of a film. Because at the end of the day, you want to make your monetary mark. And in doing so, you have to pay attention to the market and see if you can create product that not only is attractive to the market, but also allows for them to want to buy in, motivates them to buy in. And with 355, and this is an all-woman cast. And these are not just like rando all-women cast. These are actually women of note. Now, I wasn't really familiar with the film. I'm not going to lie to you. Nor was I out here in these streets like looking to see it. I didn't even get a chance to do a trailer review. And I will. But I think that I don't need to have even seen 355 to have this type of commentary on it, because my commentary is gonna far extend past that. The reason being is because everybody, we this has been a topic for quite some time in film, and I think a lot longer than it was, a lot longer before it was like the thing to do. You know what I'm saying? A lot long before it was in vogue to talk about. Keep in mind, this is the precursor to all of this were the think tanks in the beginning that were trying to put out films early in the day, and they've looked at the numbers, crunched the numbers, and they paid attention. But you got to also remember, over time, the relationship between films, toys, things, and physical media, a lot of these things are changing now. And the studies of old might not actually reflect the new market. It might not. And I think that because they did these tests earlier, and in the beginning when the market was opening itself up, it found its definitive its reason for not doing it, and made it definitive not to go back to the well. I mean, they tiptoe around it, of course, because we've had other female-led action films, but because they tried it earlier, it just seemed like it just didn't work. There's a certain recipe in doing it. You know, most of the female action films, and I use the term action loosely, you've seen in horror films. Because the women that were actionable in it were usually the one that started off as the scaredy cat girly girl, but by the end of the film, somehow she found her strength and things of that nature, and killed or defeated or evaded the villain. And we've seen that in horror flicks, slasher flicks. A lot of times the women tend to deal the death blow, you know, but they definitely usually are the ones that make it to the end of the film. Whereas, like, that's usually just how it really, like works. And I'm sure there's a logistical math behind why they did it that way or why it works. That's why they kept on doing it. That said, we've seen it in femme fatale films. You know, we've seen those type of films with that one lone girl that was trained and she could use her sex appeal to kind of cloak her way throughout like certain situations, but also she's lethal, very physically able, you know, and all the rest of it. We've seen the femme fatale films, The Point of No Returns, the Nikita was La Femme Nikita, which was basically all of those were the same. Was a spinoff of I believe a foreign film, to be quite honest. You know what I'm saying? Point of No Return is basically La Femme Nikita, the American version. You know, but at the end of the day, with all that being said, we've seen this variation of, and then we've always done the mirrors. Like, you know, you have one character, so we have the female character, like Superman, Supergirl. You have, you know what I'm saying? Like what was it? We had Tombstones and we had Bad Girls with the old girl cowboy flick, which I love. Like, that was my shit. Like, I fuck with that shit. Drew Barrymore was in that joint. But anyways, we've done those type of films. But that was a long time ago where social politics and all of that, we had our conversation of it, but it wasn't to the way it was and the way it's in vogue now. So again, when we see 355, and again, I mean, it does have an impressive cast. I mean, you got Jessica Chastain, Penelope Cruz, Fan Bingbing, and I believe that's the girl that played in Link in Days of Future Past, Diane Kruger. I think I know who she is. Lupita Nyong'o, Edgar Ramirez, and Sebastian Stan. So you got people credible, some from the MCU. You would think that this would buoy the box office for them, but it hasn't. You know what I'm saying? Let's see how much it's made. The box office says 4.6. 4.6 million on a budget of 40 to 75 million. This is not good. It's 20% on Rotten Tomatoes, 40% Media Critic, 4.8 out of 10 on IMDb. And that's not good. That's not good. I'm over here really looking online just to even go over the box office one more time. 4.8 million. This is not good. Not on a 40 to $50 million budget. 40 to $75 million budget. Now, why did it not do good? Now, we could argue the film wasn't good. I'll be honest with you. You could also talk about marketing because I wasn't really that familiar with the film. Like, I haven't even seen the trailer for it. I'm aware of it, though. Don't get it twisted. You know me, I try to watch it with you guys online first. Needless to say, I didn't see it. So I'm not really familiar with what it's about. I think it's like a woman spy joint. Matter of fact, I might have came across something in the theaters or something that touched on a little bit of it. You know, don't let me lie on myself too much. But needless to say, it didn't elicit any kind of motivation to the theaters. And I'm sure there's a big reason for it. But I wanted to talk about how this pertains to females in films and action flicks. Strong female characters, because someone will try to utilize this as an idea to be like, we don't like strong female characters, and that's not the case, because we also remember what happened with Charlie's Angels. It's not about that. One of the biggest issues is women don't support these type of films like that. To be fair, is there a reason? Probably. That's not the motivation of the discussion today. my biggest thing about hearing that there's not enough strong female characters is that it's such a lie. If you ever watch films such as Joy Luck Club, La Femme Nikita, or Point of No Return, Aliens, Imitation of Life, where you have like an excellent strong female character in the mother. Matter of fact, there was another one in, like, I think the one that hired her, I think she was a pretty good strong character as well. Some of the women stole the show scenes in those, and that's a black and white film. You've had I Love Lucy. As funny as she was a strong female character that she defied her husband every which way, and somehow at the end still retained her femininity all throughout it. I mean, we got to get into the habit of stop assuming that in order for you to have a strong female character, she has to take on attributes that are commonly associated with being a man. That doesn't break any molds. What we have to do is just make strong characters, period. And if it's going to be in the vein of their sexuality, or in terms of their gender, and I'm not talking about gender expression, I mean, I'm just talking gender, period, then you'd have to tap into things of the gender that reign true on a very visceral level, from biology to sociology, to how they socialize. You know what I'm saying? That's the best way you can associate yourself with these people in order to make it a little bit more visceral for them. So that's where the idea of representation may come in, where you want to see those type of representations of. Now, in the world of spectrum, there's a spectrum of so many different things. You're never going to be able to hit and target every single person when everything is supposedly on the spectrum. So we have to deal in arrogance. Like, if you're a black boy back in the day watching TV, yeah, you might not have strong black male characters, but you at least tend to gravitate to anything that is masculine, because that would, at least you could, live vicariously through that and self-insert via that, and let your imagination handle the rest. But you're not gonna target it. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't have, because look what happens when we actually start employing more black male characters. So I'm not gonna say there isn't a relevance of representation. My problem is the assumption that if we don't represent every single target person within an arrogate, then you no longer are representative of the arrogate, and that's just not fair. You can't really say that just because I missed 2 people out of 100 people, I no longer represent the whole. At some point, we gotta really start looking at these films as films first. Make no mistake, we can handle all the ideas. Those are separate kind of conversations. That's why I always like to say we should really leave a lot of our politics at the door when we go watch a film. That's kind of like the reason why you watch movies, to kind of like get away from, you know what I mean, like the things around you, to detach and live vicariously through someone else. But we have a wealth of female characters that have done excellently, and the need to always feel like we need to stop and clap it up, or stop and say, hey, we don't have enough this, that, and the third, then you're going to have to come with something on the back, and you're going to have to show where this market is. Now, what I'm saying is that there's strong female characters no matter how they're depicted. Like, look at Game of Thrones. They have a wealth of it. Brienne was an excellent female character, excellent character, period. There was an older lady, I forget her name, charming woman, chewed up every scene she came on. I loved it every time they showed her. I enjoyed every moment that we got with that lady. May she rest in peace, because I'm for one understood she passed, and I really forget her name. But matter of fact, let me see if I can bring her up. Hold on a second. Olenna Tyrell, yeah, excellent character. She was played by I'm trying to get her name. Alright. Alright. I'm going out of my way trying to get Lady Tyrell name, the actress's name, and for some reason I'm not getting that. I'm getting her fictional characters information, but let's try one more time because I want to put some respect on the actress name, Diana Rigg. Excellent actress. It's like she chewed up every scene. Like I said, you got a lot of strong female characters littered throughout of it. Even the redhead mom, she was awesome. I thought she was like one of the dopest characters on that show. So at the end of the day, you have strong, and they're strong characters. They're not. There's nothing weak about them. You can look at the X-Men series that they explicitly always try to lead up to the Phoenix, which is the strongest X-Men. I mean, strongest character, mutant character, and that's a woman. These are not new ideas or new concepts. Now, the even irregularity of such is that not enough people go out to see it to make it something that you want to do all the time. It comes in waves. There's certain ways in which it's done and it's handled. Those type of properties are handled. At the end of the day, you can still argue, oh well, why is it like that? Well, why is it that we don't watch kung fu flicks and you know all the guys that die in the background? How come they're not all a bunch of women and guys ain't just mowing through them? Why? How come it isn't women fighting mostly women in action flicks? There's a reason why they still have them fight guys for the most part. You know what I mean? That's usually still the MO of the film. So we got to get out of that habit of always trying to look for the issue in something as opposed to just, if you're going to broaden it and say strong female characters, why is it the first initial response is them them taking on masculine traits or traits that are normally associated with masculinity in order to be a woman doing anything worth like giving it its respect? Then it's you who are actually impressing upon people that you think that these female characters and stories are not worth telling in their truest form without it somehow wearing the veneer of something that's more associated with masculinity. It's almost like saying they ain't doing it unless we conquer what men normally are known for doing. It's like, then what are you really here for? Are you here to be strong, or are you trying to be masculine strong, which is something very specific? And then it's you kind of self answer it. Well, how come when we try to do what men do and sell it to men, it don't work? Well, because men are in the world of I need to see myself on the screen. Why would they want to live vicariously through you when they can have their own film where they could feel more inclined to live vicariously through them? You know what I mean? See where I'm going with it? It just doesn't really make sense unless you're bringing in a bunch of preloaded angst and ideas that would make you like make such an askewed comment. I feel that instead of looking at it that way, Why can't we just celebrate the strength and strong female characters that we've seen littered throughout Hollywood? There's just so many. I mean, like, you got Linda Hamilton in Terminator. You have you could take any female soap opera. There's plenty of strong female characters that they've actually expressed on camera. You could look at any of them on Marvel movies where it's male led. There's a female counterpart that adds so much to these characters, and some of which are just as strong as the male characters. It may not be their film for them to take up a lion's share of the screen time, and that would make sense. But make no mistake, that doesn't make them any less excellent characters and strong characters. And that's the point. Why is the idea that it ain't strong unless it's a male space? Then we could come in and dominate that and then move on. I mean, is that the honest way we're going to approach it? Because I feel like in writing, especially when you want to write a film, the story and the character is supposed to take it off. Yeah, we all self-insert certain type of concepts and ideas that we want to address. But you still got to have a story to address it through. And the story has to reign supreme. And with the failure of 355, it's going to really expose a few things. One, the box office ain't what people think it is just because, oh, Spider-Man's back, that means everything is Gucci. No. That's an event film, the likes of which would have brought so many people out to see it. Doesn't make sense before it got spoiled. So let's just kick that in the butt. 2, Spider-Man's logo is, if not the most recognizable superhero iconography, if not, it's just under Superman. But if I'm not mistaken, Spider-Man beats Superman in overall popularity worldwide, which was a surprise to me when I heard that. Next, the other reason is we're still in a pandemic, and a lot of people are just not trying to come out like that. And the next thing is a lot of people's habits have changed. People have migrated to streaming and feel more comfortable with going that route before doing anything else. It saves a lot of money with inflation going up. So even when everybody just assumed that Spider-Man just saved the movie theaters, no, Spider-Man just proved that there's money out there and people are willing to come, but it has to be worth it. People not going to risk it all for 355. If they're going to risk it all for any film, it would be something out of the MCU that's tied to a larger universe. And why not Spider-Man, especially this Spider-Man, especially with everything that was going on, circling around and all the rumors and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, I do believe that 355 suffered from a lot of different things before we could ever even touch into the realm of, oh, it's because it's a all female cast. That's bullshit. You even had Disney characters in there. If it's not Marvel, it's not going to move like that. Then you have something that wasn't even marketed to its strength. Because I don't remember a lot of marketing for 355. Then next, is it a good film? I don't know. I haven't seen the movie. I haven't seen the trailer. I just want to talk about the concept of it failing and how it kind of lends itself to this idea that it's going to be because of women. And that's not the case. But if you want to deal with it on that level, stop acting like in order to be a strong female character, it has to wear the veneer of something that is commonly associated with masculinity. Because it doesn't need to. Women could conquer, be strong in their own, and carry their own bravado, and still be strong characters. And there's nothing wrong with that. Why would you need to define something that you arrogated as female characters against male characters and what males do? No, she's super. Not super, but whatever the character is, let the character do that. And if the character is strong, the character is going to be a strong character, and the actress that plays them is going to have to make it radiate from off the script, off the script to onto the screen. And that's going to be at the burden of the actress. But let's stop saying that there are not strong female characters out there, especially when we have the likes of Ripley. And everyone says Ripley a whole lot. Let's not even use that. You could look at the mother in True Lies. Again, like any horror flick you want to think of. You could say Sandra Bullock in Speed was a strong character because she was. She even what's that movie with Estelle Getty and Stallone? Look on My Mom Was Shoot. Like, she was a strong she was a strong character, strong female character. I mean, we've had it. I mean, this is nothing new to black and white films. I mean, there would never have been the birth of strong female actresses. I mean, of actresses in Hollywood, especially if they were getting Oscar nominations and things of that nature. They weren't strong. They didn't depict strong characters. They did not elevate the material. So let's not act like that, because then you take away from all the accomplishments of those that came before, that laid all the groundwork for us to get to this point, that we're going to just throw it away because it's just in vogue to say there are no strong female characters. Or what you really want to say, there's not enough strong female characters dominating in male spaces, which by definition wouldn't make sense, because women dominate in women's spaces, men dominate in men's spaces. That's just how it works. Otherwise, it wouldn't be male or female spaces. And that's just really the point of it. There are strong female characters out there, plenty of. You let me know and name a few down below. And again, strong female character doesn't mean that they have to come with the kung fu grip. That doesn't mean that they out here kicking butts, taking names, and doing backflips and all the rest of it. You have strong female characters that are just strong characters. Just like we had strong male characters that didn't do kung fu. Like, look at Denzel barely did a lot of action flicks in his whole career, and he played a lot of strong characters. He didn't need to do a backflip or a somersault or whip out two-gun action to do it. And that's just the point. I think we need to just enjoy these characters. And on a lot of level, yeah, their gender would apply and it could be a motivating factor. But the bottom line is that to show strength doesn't necessarily mean it has to come at the expense of explosions in the background and you jumping from rooftop to rooftop. It could just be as those simple, quiet moments between two characters that where certain things are established that really make you look at the character like, dang, man, like, you really just, you let it be known, or you really, this was your defining moment in the film. This is the I have arrived moment. And then you just go, wow, like, that's dope. Like, nailed it. Feel me? And I think that's where we need to be at when we add commentary to the films. I'm not going to say that there aren't moments where we need to address certain things like that, very specific, but the idea that there are no strong female characters is ridiculous. So you might ask me, then what happened to 355 if they're so good? I don't know. Again, we touched on a lot of the main reasons why it could have crashed and burned that a lot of people are not really paying attention to, because since Spider-Man's been out, people assume that people got money to spend at the theaters like that, and it's like, not only on event tadpole films that are attached to universes that people feel like they'll miss out if they don't go see it. And I think in a lot of ways they did. But at the end of the day, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Name all the strong female characters that you have seen in films that you've enjoyed, and leave it in the comments below. Also, we're gonna do another deep dive into this again, where we talk more on the box office angle, because a lot of people forget there's also numbers behind it, and that's why I led with, yo, if this is how you feel, you should go support it, because if you don't support it, then you're just part of the problem. You can't ask Hollywood to invest in something that isn't a proven factor. There's rules to this shit. You feel me? You got to make sure you're at a certain level so that when I go in, I can substantiate why I did it this way. And if you're not spending your money and you're not voting with your dollars, then you're just not saying anything. They'll continue to make these type of films if you go out to support it, and you have to go out support it. This is the only way that you can live vicariously through a character, is if they're jumping through hoops or doing kung fu flicks, then you need to go out and see it. If it's all about seeing an all-female cast, this was a moment to do so. You know what I'm saying? There's so many different relevant reasons that I think you gotta really go out your way and support what you like. Otherwise, you'll never get a continuation of the things that you purportedly say that you love. And I think that's the next direction that a lot of people in the fandom need to do. But again, like I said, leave it in the comments below about what your thoughts on this analysis, and what do you think, how does this reflect in your life? Leave it in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe. See you next time, and as always, till I have a better outro. Chill.